special, beautiful guest, Heather Whitehouse, is in the building to share with us about the female archetype, Sophia. We are live also on Facebook, so ladies, if you're able to join in, I did invite you on there. Or if you are unable, if you can also share the live as well. But I would like to make sure that everybody can hear you on Facebook too. Um, I'm going to now also go on to TikTok Live. We're giving it a shot all around today, everybody. Welcome in, beautiful souls. Welcome in. Making sure we have volume just at one light source. Okay. Welcome in, everybody. T, I'm live on Facebook now as well. I mean, on TikTok. And I can reshoot you your invite. It is okay the first couple of minutes. We are just setting it and getting it together, and then we will go into a beautiful conversation this evening. So bear with us for another minute. I'm so grateful that everybody is here. Okay, the invite. T, once you see me on TikTok, let me know. And then, yeah, Heather is here. Oh, Heather, you sound beautiful on here too. Wonderful. Welcome in, beautiful souls. Welcome in. I am so excited. Tina is on her way to Facebook, TikTok. Guys, we're on YouTube. We're all over the place tonight. I'm very, very, very excited. We have a special guest. Heather Whitehouse is in the building. She is in the beautiful corner of this internet. She was brought into my life after my father passed in November through Tina, the co host, so that's even more exciting because I truly, truly feel that my father's passing has brought in such beautiful soul members. I could cry in this moment of joy and of peace that I feel in knowing. Um, just the people that I have in my life. Like protection was the card that my dad shared with me today, right before this live. Um, but yeah, so welcome in everybody. I want to let you guys know that Heather did a beautiful transmission about Sophia, the female archetype. I would love for Heather, when she has a second, to share a little bit about herself, um, the beautiful offerings that she has, and a little bit about Sophia. And we're also going to share with you guys the Sophia transmission as well as the experience that my father just walked me into as my mother's clock's going off right now. Over the past 20, yeah, over the past 24 hours, the amount of spirit and connection that has stepped into my life, I just want to share with all of you today. It's just beautiful. So, Heather, I will let you take the floor.
Wow, well, thank you. It took me a little bit to figure out all of what I need to figure out to get on here. So hopefully I'm on here.
You
Um,
are.
so thank you. Yes, we did. We met through Tina, which is amazing. So I'm Heather Whitehouse. I'm on the corner of Facebook Live, but I live in Connecticut. So thank you so much for having me. I know we've been working a lot on these four archetypes together, the four of us. Um, so today we're just going to introduce Sophia, but I also work with Isis, Mary Magdalene, and Hecate. But we're going to focus on Sophia. It was part of my newsletter, and Nicole does my newsletter for me. And I think when I hit on Sophia today, it just resonated very much with you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a beautiful story, which I'm sure you're going to share and kind of blend into what this podcast is about today. I work with astrology and a lot of shamanic work, and pulling the energy of Isis and Sophia, like I mentioned, into the astrology chart was very important to me, so that when I read to people, they could understand a little bit more about how these archetypes live within them. So Sophia is just a beautiful feminine face of wisdom, the part of us that knows without needing to prove. So she's really a transition for us as we age, and she'll come in and leave us all she teaches that wisdom isn't always about clarity, it's about going deeper, perhaps sitting in that quiet, um, as opposed to always racing for the next answer, like sitting in the quiet inner voice that gets, overridden, with all of that outside chatter, right? You know, how we all just lean into so much energy moving forward, and she's really about leaning into that quiet and the inner knowing. So I think that's maybe what happened to you today, Nicole.
You hit right on the head right there. You really, really
Yeah.
did, because that's exactly what I felt, was just this peace and being present and allowing whatever was happening. So I'll share with everybody. Yesterday was my 9-year anniversary with my husband, and I was taking an intentional shower, and in that shower I was connecting with spirit or my guides, whoever comes through, and I connected with my father. My father's energy came through, because I've been getting an itch over the last 24 48 hours, me and my husband, of like, we got to take off somewhere. We don't got to go anywhere far, but we want to take off somewhere. Up north, nah. Down south, over east, no. It just, what, nothing was hitting, right? So I'm in the shower, and then all of a sudden I get this, you need to go see your sister. And I have a half sibling that my father, because my father had 2 children by my mother, then he had 3 children by another wonderful woman, Stephanie, who is came into my life since my father's passing in such a beautiful way. Again, well, like I was mentioning earlier, my father really bringing people into my life, just magical. And then he had my youngest brother, Matt, out of another relationship following. So all in all, he has 6 children. But so Felicity, we're not supposed to say names, but anyways, my half sister, I wanted to go see her. I felt guided to go see her because she's been having a difficult time connecting with her father and stuff. And when he came through, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this nudge, because that's what it is, right? These are intuitive nudges and guidance, and allowing, really allowing. So that Sophia energy again, instead of just rushing, trying to do, allowing what was unfolding to, embody me. And my husband was like, all right, let's go. He goes, you know what? Gas is the cheapest that way too. Boom. What? Done. Right? So we just, then I message stepmom, and I'm like, hey, what's your address? We're coming out there. Oh, wait, what? Here it is. Here's the address. And it was like step after step was just unfolding naturally, just happening. And I'm like, okay, we're doing this. So we get in the car, we go out there, we hit some weather. We always know when traveling, Spirit's going to have a reckoning of weather one way or the other, so just know that. But the other way will be smooth sailing. It just know, for the sake of balance, it'll happen. So we dealt with some weather. We went there, and she didn't know. We got there in last night. We spent the day with stepmom, and then she showed up at stepmom's that night after work. And then, surprise, we were there. And I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. You get the nervousness, like, did I do the right thing? Am I gonna freak her out? Because we didn't grow up together. We didn't have the opportunity to. Just life happened. But when my father's passing, something changed in me. My relationship completely identified a different way with my older sister, and unfortunately is in the place that it is now of we're just not. And then with my
pause, it's in a pause.
Thank you, yes, a pause. I like that. And something's opening in that pause with my other sister. Yeah, so this energy's just been so profound and enlightening. Like, I can feel I'm softer. I don't know. I don't, I'm just so in the being. And even with my husband and him sharing, just a lot unfolded. So, like, when we were talking, I let her know, that Dad came through. He wanted me to come sit with you. I teach intuitive development classes on tools like the pendulum, tarot, oracle, even birth charts, which I love sharing with people. the deeper what you share with the galactic astrology and female archetypes and how it plays out in the chart. If you would like to share a little bit of that, I would love for people to know what I mean when I'm sharing that.
Yeah. Okay. Um, well, I want to honor your story. That's a beautiful story. I do believe Tina's on here with us as well. So
I know I'm trying to wag her on. I'm like, T, where I can't
so
resend the
she wants to.
invite.
She knows all about Sophia because we talk
I'm
about.
on I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and here.
You're not on any of them except for in Riverside and YouTube. You got to. You're in the comment section, but you're not on the video with us.
No, I'm on video on Facebook.
Not in here with us. You're not.
All right, keep going. Go ahead, Heather.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to honor that you're here as well.
Yes.
Thank you for handing the platform back over to me, but I do want to speak about your pause, which is really what Sophia is. Sophia really is the pause. This is the transformation. This is where you are in the middle of your cycle. It's kind of like you have to break it down, and it leans into the next of the becoming. And that is really what Sophia is all about. So that's why she's resonating with you right now. You are in the becoming after the pause. You know, stepping over to the next part, sometimes when something dissolves, there's something else waiting to happen, but it has to happen in the pause, in the quiet, in the knowing, in that clear cognizance, in the knowing. So you're on the right trajectory, and I honor your journey so much. So stay with it. Stay in the pause, the quiet, sometimes when you lose clarity, it's the leading you to the deeper understanding. So maybe when you got the download from your father to meet with your half sister, it's now reshaping your lives, both of your lives. You're reshaping your lives. It can feel uncomfortable. You said you were nervous, but again, that's where that deeper truth emerges for you. So that is why you have this connection to Sophia. Yeah, it's an intricate how you move into another stage. Yes, so much. I'm just listening to one of our followers here. She's asking a question. So the energy would show up for you when you feel as if you're learning a new lesson, getting rid of the old lessons, kind of like shedding that skin of the last year, the snake skin, and moving into a new. So it all kind of ties in, right? Leaving what does not serve you, moving into what does serve you, but that little pause to get that lesson. It would show up in you maybe with maybe more trust in your intuition, honoring your emotions. Don't take the emotions as weakness, and allowing that softness in you. So you put yourself into it. You said you softened today, and you had a beautiful experience with your. I'm going to call her your sister because we're sisters too through the cosmic universe. We need to soften. We need to believe in ourselves. So I think that's how that energy shows up is warmth in your heart space and really working on that chakra of your heart space. Probably something that you teach in your course. So I am leaning into galactic astrology. It means bringing you into your past life. I have done a chart for Nicole. I've done a chart for Tina and many other folks. It takes you deeper into your past life that speaks to what your life is about today. So I go into if you're a Palladian, if you're a Lyran. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of any of those. If you're from the Orion Belt, and it really just gives you these beautiful stories. I work with 64 different fixed stars. All when you look up, they're tiny, but they're enormous if you're from there. So it just forms your story of who you are today. Very, very, very beautiful energy. So I hope that describes it. Does that seem to describe what I do via Isis? So it's a 90-minute Zoom consultation once I get your birth date, birth time, and place of birth. And it helps if you go back when I did the reading for you, Nicole and Tina. You said, yeah, it does inform more information about you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So thank you for letting me speak some of my truth. And I work a lot in the pause. I work a lot in the quiet. The only way you can get clarity is to get into the quiet.
Yes. And
So
oh, go ahead, Tina, please.
I just have a quick question, and I apologize, Heather. You're very hard to hear on my end, but I don't know if it's me. But so why I'm saying that is I just want to apologize if I repeat something you said. So over the last couple weeks, we've been talking about chaos and the state of the world and how everybody's feeling this change and this transition. Nicole, I'm just curious, what was so you don't have to disclose what's going on with your sister, but is she in one of those states similar to where the rest of us are overstimulated? We're feeling the rush, we're feeling the pressure. So it was one of those vibes where you kind of sensed her energy and realized that she may need you to come and help kind of ground her.
Right, but the thing of it is that there was no
You weren't sure.
precursors that I was told about except for through what really happened with my dad to that extent. But there was prior to, I've been hearing whispers recently in regards to her, whether it's in communication with her mom or it's just the silent whispers in the quiet, like in the pause. That have been unfolding because and it's been softly spoken in, and then there was just like that, like dad just confirmed it, like sealed for me that yep, these little trembles of whisper, and that's where it's like that intuition, the heart space, the quiet. um
Yeah.
and I feel like on a collective level, aren't all of us kind of having these internal triggers that are like, I don't know how to,
No,
are
I
visually
think,
playing out?
yeah,
It's
you're
beautiful.
right. Because when you're talking about the situation, the experience, and current state of mind or soul or body, whatever you want to use, all three, this is where Sophia is playing a huge part in this process because her role is to return to clarity. So all of that overstimulation, that overwhelming feeling, the emotions, probably dealing with grief, just hitting her now, right? If she's never had to go through such a tremendous loss, it takes time to process. So this is where Sophia has a very powerful way of coming in to help you use your skills to help ground her.
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Am I making that connection
Yes,
appropriately?
the way that it's
Yes.
hitting my heart and belly, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Beautiful. Yes. We're teaching her, or teaching your clients, or teaching our friends and our family that with all that chatter and the nervous energy and the universe and the world and the gas prices and the oil prices and all that, we have to stop and pause. And Nicole, you would have heard the messages from your dad if you were still living in all of the chaos. So meditation is a beautiful space. Finding and asking questions before you fall asleep with a mantra like, please, spirit guides, lead me to a beautiful message. I'm in my quiet. My hands are on my heart space. Where can I get these messages from? I'm pausing. I want to hear the soft voices come through. And grief is a tough one. We all know about grief. Grief is a tough one, but sit in that quiet of grief and ask for relief, releasing that heaviness in the heart space. But again, Sophia, um, you know, what part of yourself is taught to silence that might actually hold the wisdom? Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful question. Where can you get quiet so you can find your wisdom? That's the all-knowing. That's the intuition. That's claircognizance. That's your psychic ability. So teaching your sister that, maybe you worked with her with that
You hit it
quiet
again.
knowing.
you hit it again, because what unfolded for us, what was so beautiful, was that we shared in similarities. And I was even telling my husband today, I go, I really want to do a chart with her, with Heather, to know, because this is my sister, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, when we were able to connect on things like that, we have seeing, hearing, music things, like there was detailed things throughout my journey that before I didn't understand. Now I integrate and understand their gifts and how to use them and work with them. And but to share it with her, and her be like, wait a minute, what? I thought it
So
was
are you
this.
saying that you had similar signs come through the universe for a connection?
Like when we were talking in our interaction yesterday, what was coming up was I wanted to share with her, because she's been in a place of identity shifting. We lost our father. She also had experiences prior to. We all have life things that happen that were unfolding that she was working through. And in the world has put labels on things, right? They've labeled things so then that way people can be like, okay, this is what it is. Whether it could be, ADHD or autism or bipolar or these labels are medically. For me on my journey, I felt like those labels started something. The ADHD, I was, you know, my labels were put there, right? But in a spiritual essence, right? Because with spirituality, you go within. There's a different perception that starts to unfold in understanding what these labels are at a deeper level, right? And bipolar can show up in a way of masking who I truly was in order to feel safe in my environment, because I wasn't safe at a time to fully envelop or develop these insights, these gifts, is whatever this is inside of me, right? So it can come out in a bipolar sense because your inner part's trying to come out but isn't allowing to, and it's showing up in a shell. And from my experience, and when I was able to connect that, in that conversation, it was very eye opening. You could see the clarity, you can see the safety. It was almost like a warm hug enveloped the situation. The it was just profound. It felt incredible. I felt my mom there. I felt so many layers of just, and you're right. If I was chaotic or watching drama or fear, or I was in hatred mode, then none of that would have been able to show the way that it was. And that's where the Sophia, and the energy is tea. It's in my belly, guys. It's in my belly right now too.
That's so beautiful. So some people are just joining us. I just want to share with them that we're talking about an archetype. Her name is Sophia. And what we're trying to convey in this podcast is how she lives within you. She's present within you as a feminine being. It can also live within a man. It's kind of the shedding of what no longer serves you, moving into what does serve you, and finding this in the sense of being quiet. So she's just shows up for me when I read it in the astrological chart for my clients. I do want to just do a little disclaimer with what you said. Please, spirituality does not take over medical. So if you're diagnosed medically with any of these things, please lean into what your doctors are saying. But spirituality can play such an important role in all of those. ADHD is something you mentioned, in bipolar. Really, spirituality, meditation, leaning into the quiet, which is Sophia. Being a part of yourself in that silence, finding the wisdom in your quiet is so helpful, which you might be able to speak a little bit more about how meditation works for you, or your tarot card practice, or
Yeah, the quiet, and you're completely right. Yes, I do want to share, because I just am so passionate, because I've known that for me personally in my journey,
Yes.
what the labels helped me to start to understand, and then where spirituality just helped me start to identify it differently, to integrate it more so
Yes.
than feeling confined by it. It's
Yeah.
just that I just want to make sure that, because we are speaking to everybody, and this is why I have these beautiful women around me, because I
Yeah.
can get into what I'm feeling, and I don't want to not acknowledge in the essence of, you know, medical professional and but spirituality for me, and just being in that quiet, yes, and
Yeah.
meditation and whatever comes up, allowing it, emotions at any time for me, like if it's a workout and you feel overcome with, tears, like allowing yourself the grace, like
Yeah.
Tina speaks very strongly on, when dealing with grief and the layers
Yeah.
and identity.
Yes.
And I want to pull Tina in real quick because I know that our viewers aren't able to see her, but she is with us, and I know that you guys hopefully can hear her. So I just want to enter her in on the conversation as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've had my hand raised, just so you know.
Oh, I was looking over here. Oh my
Like
goodness, I see the hand.
like a
The
good
laptop's
student.
so far away. Yes, you've done
Like a
well.
good student. So I just wanted the couple things I just want to add. There's so much to the female archetypes that Heather's going to educate us on someday down the road. We wanted to bring Sophia in tonight because Nicole actually went through and felt something this weekend that led her to question who else was guiding her through this process. So
Mm.
I think what you've heard so far is that Sophia is a very strong, powerful persona. She's capable of turning disruption into a direction. And she is the calm inside the storm. She's not outside the storm where we're all running like frenzy, right? Tornadoes coming, hurricane, whatever. She's inside the storm trying to bring the calmness. And so when you think about the journey you had this weekend and the archetypes we've talked about and the conversations we've had about this transition and all the chaos happening in the world, I think it's really powerful to also make sure, and you've mentioned it, so I'm hoping I'm not breaching confidentiality. When you bring in the level of grief and the emotion around grief, and you add that on top of somebody who's already struggling with a mental illness, it
Mm.
it makes it so complicated because that person's ability to ground themselves on their own personally is a challenge. Because not only are they dealing with the emotions of, I lost my father, I lost my mother, whomever it may be, they're also dealing with the voices in their head. And we know sometimes the voices in our head don't always direct us in the right direction.
It's
I'm sure
ego.
we've all learned that one way or the other. So, where I feel like Nicole played um, such a powerful role this weekend is Nicole was able to tap into Sophia and translate that inner truth into
Yeah.
into action.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just a nice extra modality. It's not the only modality that you can work with. It just is an added
Right.
modality through your work of healing, Sophia.
And Heather, when you bring in the four archetypes, you do such a great job of explaining them. So
Yeah.
it's a powerful educational process to understand who these archetypes are and where they lie within you because you're not just one. I think you're a blend of four, right? It
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Because we're all energy. Remember again, with the energy and the connection that you can have, it's so embodying and it's so warm and it's so beautiful and embracing to know that you can work with these energies, or that these energies are always within you,
yeah.
Yeah.
working
Yeah,
within you.
We forget that they live there and they'll come and show up at different times. You know, like Tina just said, they'll all four live within you, but they'll show up at different times, and it just happens to be that Sophia is resonating with me. I see it resonating with people around me, and then today, again, just for those new viewers, the Sophia conversation was spurred by my newsletter that went out, going out tomorrow, but
Yes.
Nicole writes my newsletters, or she refines my newsletters. And then when she read about Sophia, it was like ping, 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 ping,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's again, like I always share with the intuitive development tools, right? That again is
Yes.
another tangible physical outcome of what I was already emotionally experiencing, right? And that's the power of knowing, just even knowing about these energies and now embracing. And I also want to share too, what was really beautiful in the connection with me and my sister was that we were able to understand ourselves and each other within those conversations.
Of
You know,
course.
and they aren't easy, and they have been difficult experiences, but to see the power in her be so much younger and see how much power she took in those really difficult times that she was experiencing to get the to seek the help, to get into therapy, to do those things, and the awareness and take, and she also too was embodying Sophia so much because she was like, I take a pause now
Yeah.
when I get worked up. Like I'm just realizing it right now as I'm talking
Yeah.
about it, like how she before I'm reacting and kind of sitting, and then in her conversations, like what are you taking on from other people around you, you know, nervous system regulating.
Gosh.
Like right, but to hear her at her age in her 20s, and I'm 40, I'm going to be 42. It's so beautiful to see that she is in that place of already enlightenment, embodiment, but for me to be able to just show her and enlighten her on how powerful in what she's doing and what she is creating actually is, and how much she's taking control of her life. And I think to be able to give her that clarity was something that was necessary for her and on our paths when we're working through things like this. Yes, T?
So
Beautiful. So I want to just add a little bit to that. First, I want to acknowledge your sister's work that she's doing, and I commend her. We could all hold a moment for her
Yes.
right now commend her and show her our love to her for her hard work. I thought that, and this is just a conversation. I thought that Sophia only was for me at my age, and I'm 66. So I love that you're sharing with me that it's hitting you at 42,
Yep.
and that your sister's younger. And Tina, we won't divulge your age.
But how it's gone down.
Too, and it's hitting you. So I thought it just happened later in life, but Sophia happens early. I guess all the time. She just happens all the time. You know,
well,
all
I
of our transitions, all our lessons.
Yes, Tina,
I
you were going to say.
I think Heather, I think what you just said, I'm going to try to connect, probably not very clean, but I think it's about who we are as individuals. So, craving truth, clarity, right? Emotional maturity. So, you have this young girl who's gone through a trauma, who's just processing it, but she's also processing so many other things that are going on with her and her body. And, you know, in her, if I go back to my 20s, I'd do it again. You just feel untouchable. I think that when you think of Sophia and then the ages, because I'm 49, I just threw it out there. I think we don't really connect to those archetypes until we allow ourselves to be emotionally mature to know that there is more to this world than what we were living.
It's beautiful to
And
see it happening earlier and
yeah,
earlier. It's like through us, like each generation kind of opening up the conversation, it's allowing a full doorway to open for every generation.
Yeah, which is Hecate, which is the next spiritual guide we can talk about another day. But we should meet up in 10 years and see if we all still have Sophia in our souls. Because it'll be another whole story of what we're leaving behind to move forward. You know, it's so much shedding
Hmm.
of whatever doesn't serve us to move into our quiet and our pause. Yeah.
well, and I think it's interesting because when I do coaching with leaders, I focus more on like clarity, discernment, integration, trying to get them to understand how to connect with their colleagues. And the one thing that's coming to mind right now with Sophia, which I don't know if I made a connection earlier and I forgot, or I just made it. Sophia is not just wisdom. She is actually the wisdom in motion. She is what keeps you going. She is the one that keeps that motivation for you to keep going and make it through such uncertain times. And of course, dealing with uncertain emotions. So it's really interesting the more we talk about her in those last several half hour maybe, how many different connections I've been able to connect her to without even being prepared.
That's evolution of self at its finest. Ooh, ooh. Sorry, that's from my dad. That's again our gift. So sister just texted and said that she might be able to find time to come on sometime. Ah, see, I love it, guys. That's awesome. Sorry, the text just came in like just now. That's alignment. I would look at it that way. But yeah, so with all this energy, it was really, really good to see the beauty in it because there's really something to the ending and the beginning. Like, and yesterday, if we want to look at numerology, it was a 10th. And then me and my husband's, it was our 9th. So we're starting our 10th year together. To me, I looking that as a really when you said the ending of cycles, for the first time, Heather, when you said that, I felt this feeling of, oh my goodness, I'm finally not going to repeat X, Y, and Z cycles anymore. You get what I'm saying? Because they repeated themselves out. You know what I mean? And the feel, and you got me excited because I was like, wow, I'm excited for what these next, because their cycles are going to break in, or this next layer of life I'm going to walk into is exciting. And I'm just like allowing it rather than like trying to constrict it or do too much.
Well, that's the emotional maturity, right? You're educated.
Sorry, Heather's mic was off, and then Tina, you were saying.
On the window. Okay. Now you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. And then Tina was finishing. You were saying.
Tina loses track really fast with her brain fog. I was gonna say I think a lot of it goes back to that emotional maturity and opening up to what else is out there. I don't think, and I say this almost every time we're live, is I don't think I would have healed or have gotten as far as I have on my journey if I didn't open my heart to spirituality.
Yeah.
I don't think I even knew what it meant in like totality until I started to look at it differently. I've met people who brought it into my life. I continue to meet people who believe in it and daily conversations. So I think it's really important that we do these kind of conversations because there are probably people trying to figure out what the hell's happening in their world right now. You're talking about space in the middle of chaos. If you can make space or pause in the middle of chaos,
Yeah.
you got some special grounding going on there.
Yeah, but the special gift about what's going on right now is becoming the peace within yourself in the middle of chaos. Because remember, as within, so without. On a collective level, the chaos is just an outwardly expression of the internal enslavement that we've been in for so long playing out. But the thing of it is now, yes, it's about community, but you also want to pull back from the collective energy and really work on your inner peace. And that's what spirituality does. That's what it offers. Because spirituality is your inner self, right? It's your inner journey.
But do you tap into it unless you learn about it? I did not tap into my spirituality until 2 years ago.
Right, because it's not something that like churches and religion that was, shown to you from the beginning down to like even your birth certificate. That's where, to me, I feel like we're moving into a society, or I'm wishfully working towards this new society where when you're born, you're getting a birth chart. when you know what I mean, when you're moving through life, you're knowing about spirituality. You're growing up knowing about the elements and Mother Earth, and transmuting the energy and how to nervous system regulate, and that is the journey that I feel very hopeful that we're moving into.
Yeah, and I think what I meant by that more so was I'm a religious person, but I don't go to church. I can't tell you what the
I hear
Bible
that all the
says. I
time.
can't just say
Yeah.
go to Psalm whatever, page 323 of the Bible. But what I can say is that my definition of spirituality post a year ago is very different than what it is today. And that's because I've opened my heart to letting it be part of me. And I think that's where people need to know that it's not about changing who you are, it's about learning who you are.
And you
Yeah.
quieted your life too. You were so busy in the workforce. You know what I mean? Very much into the physical, that when you were in that, that's like listening to very loud chaotic noise, right? Think about it this way, right?
Heavy
If
metal.
you're yes, if you're listening to that heavy metal, that's kind of what your environment is. Now with spirituality and intuition, it's quiet, it's soft,
Mhm.
it's allowing, it's embracing. You can't, if you're listening to heavy metal nonstop, then that environment of the self and that calm, you're not going to be able to shift into that radio station or that frequency. And that also works as a disturbance when trying to connect with spirit, because that's still the higher vibrational energy is soft, it's allowing, it's quiet and peaceful. That's how
Hmm.
you can connect with spirit and with your intuition. So I think for you, which was very admirable, is that you were able to make that big shift to get yourself out of the noise and in the quiet, because when we're in it we don't realize how loud it is, right, or disruptive it is, until we get out of it into observation mode.
Well,
Yeah.
also, how did you overstay your welcome in a certain space, right? It doesn't just have to be in a workspace. It could be a relationship. It could be anywhere.
Absolutely.
But like, at what point do you get the ability to say to yourself, "It's time to move on"? And I think that's also another Sophia connection for me, is that clarity that, all right, you know what? It's been a long time. Scoot your ass. Let's make decisions. You've been in
I'm
this
done repeating the
relationship.
chaos.
Yeah, you've been in this relationship for 15 years. It's not working.
Yeah.
Go on with your life.
Balance. Yeah. Beautiful. If I could add in something to our listeners, or share with our listeners, the three of us are completely capable of helping you
Yes.
with your pauses and your quiet space. We're all in it separately, we're all in it together, so feel free to reach out to us. What I'd like to add with all of what we're saying, when do you find the time to find your quiet? Anytime's a good time to allow yourself, maybe wake up 15 minutes earlier in the morning, maybe find a noontime lunchtime, set your alarm. You only need to do it for 5 minutes, right, ladies? 5 minutes to pause in your quiet and ask. Then it can grow to 10 minutes, then it can grow to 15. People are like, I have monkey mind. Just try it. I go on Insight Timer and just listen to beautiful frequency music and allow myself, yeah, you have it on now,
Yeah.
and just allow myself to be quiet, because even if you are quiet in a high frequency music, you're still using your pause and your quiet space. So I just wanted to share that. I know some people might have young children running around. Get them to be quiet and listen to the music for 5, 10 minutes,
Yes.
and then grow your practice of quiet. You have to allow, though. You
Yep.
have to allow, give yourself permission and allow yourself to do it. Don't say, like, I can't, I'm too busy. No, you need that pause to get into it, or ask us for help. Nicole can lead you to all of us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and I think you had that transmission. I don't know when you want to play that, the voiceover that you did.
Yes, I was gonna play it at the end. I feel that we should play the
Okay.
transmission that was done. I'm gonna play it. It's about 9 minutes. So I was thinking at about 7:50, 7:51, we'll play that and end it. And I highly suggest anybody that's on, feel free to please like, share, follow, but stay for the transmission. If anything, your heart and belly will feel a little bit lighter, a little bit softer, but just give it a shot. Give yourself 10 minutes.
Yeah,
And
start today. Start
right
today
now,
with it.
if
Yeah.
you're here, start today. And remember, we've got 24 hours in a day. And as somebody who was very fast paced and busy, we also have to remind ourselves we're keeping ourselves busy. And if we're
Yeah.
keeping ourselves busy, why? Why are we not allowing the quiet? Or why are we thinking that our value is based on what we're producing? So
So
if we, oh, go ahead, T. Go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, Nicole. I was just going to add. A lot of folks I've been talking to over the last week or so with coaching, they're all trying to give themselves permission to take me time, and I'm hearing it more and more. And so I'm glad we're talking about this, that it is so important for you to be able to take that time and for you to figure out where it fits best in your schedule, because in true reality, no one else is going to hand you that time back.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that came up.
Stephanie's saying I take 1 to 2 hours before work to journal. That's brilliant, Stephanie. 1 to 2 hours. That's a very large testament to yourself. I commend you on that.
And you probably
Journaling
had
is
to,
another beautiful way.
you had to probably build it to there too, right? There was
Yeah.
probably, and that's the thing where we say, guys, we're not saying to go jump and give yourself an hour right away, because we know that the busier that you are, the less likely
Yeah.
that's going to be feasible for you in the beginning. Okay? But if you can start with 5 minutes every single
Yes.
day for 1 week, then after a week, move it up to 10 minutes. After a
Yes.
week, and then have a cutoff. If you're like 30 minutes is the biggest I'll go, and you can break it down. You can do 5 minutes throughout your day here and there. It doesn't have to be done all at once. But I will share from personal experience that when you do start with these micro changes, they will
Yeah.
start building into big, beautiful changes where you end up realizing that calm, that presence, like it just becomes a part of your essence and your being in no time without even, and she just validated it right there.
Through the voice of your dog. And when we listen to the transmission, it would be really awesome if you could envision what Sophia looks like for you. Is she blonde? Is she fairy-like? Is she angelic? Is she dark-haired? Is she, envision who she is. When we, yeah, it
I
took
love
time,
that.
Stephanie said. Envision who she is when you listen to the podcast. So today, to the transmission. And today is going to be the first 10 minutes of your practice of Sophia and
Yep.
quiet. And I want to do a shout out to Maria who joined here. She is Sophia. She's everything in the whole world to me.
Thank
so
you,
she's on for
everybody.
listening. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes. Join the conversation. Comment down below. This is a women's roundtable for everybody to enjoy. T, is there anything you'd like to share before I start the transmission?
No, I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to see the reactions, or hear the reactions. I think I think this was a really powerful conversation, and it's I think it's the path we should be on. Being able to have these discussions to educate people why they're feeling what they're feeling and how they move it forward.
Absolutely.
So hit us up.
All right.
Beautiful closing. Thank you, Tina.
All right, here we go. Beloved, welcome to the second transmission of the Living Temple series, a sacred unfolding where we enter one by one the archetypal forces that live not only in myth, but within the chambers of your own being. Today we open the gate with Sophia. There comes a moment on the soul's path, not announced, not witnessed, not validated by the outer world, but felt deep in the body, a quiet turning a soft, irreversible shift. This is the threshold of Sophia, not the wisdom you learn, but the wisdom you become, the kind earned through loving too deeply, through overgiving, through the slow, sacred remembering of your own boundaries. Sophia is not who you are at the beginning. She is who remains when the illusion falls away. Many of us begin as feelers. We sense everything. We soften ourselves. We shape, adjust, attune, becoming what is needed to be loved. We call this empathy, and yes, it is a gift. But without structure, it becomes self-abandonment. We begin to believe love requires endurance, kindness requires access, and being good means giving endlessly. So we give and give and give until something within us begins to ache, quietly, steadily, truthfully, and then something sacred happens. You don't break, you don't announce it, you simply stop. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop offering your energy where it is not honored. You stop performing softness for approval. And in that stopping, Sophia arrives. Sophia is the moment awareness becomes discernment. You no longer just feel, you see the patterns, the overgiving, the over-explaining, the staying beyond your truth. And instead of shame, there is understanding. It was never weakness, it was survival. Sophia does not take your empathy, she refines it. She teaches you compassion does not require compliance. Kindness does not require access. And love does not require self-abandonment. Your energy begins to shift. You speak less, but with power. You move slower, but in truth. You observe more than you explain, and you become comfortable with silence. This is the sacred silence of Sophia. Not withdrawal, but clarity. A silence that says, I no longer need to convince you of who I am. You begin to understand not everything deserves your response. Not every connection is meant to continue. And not every space is worthy of your presence. And in this, you reclaim your energy. There is grief here, because as you become more aligned, you become more discerning. Some will call you distant. Some will say you've changed. And they are right. You have. Not hardened, but clarified. You are no longer available for anything that asks you to shrink. Sophia teaches a truth that lands deeply. Loneliness is lighter than disrespect. And so you choose differently. No longer, how do I keep this connection? But rather, does this honor who I am becoming? And in that question, everything changes. You begin to see clearly. When you stop overgiving, some connections fall away. When you stop reaching, silence answers. And instead of fixing it, you witness who shows up, who only existed when you carried the weight. This is not loss, this is revelation. Sophia is emotional mastery, not suppression, but sacred regulation. You still feel deeply, but you are no longer ruled by what you feel. You pause, you breathe, you ask, is this truth or an echo of something unhealed? And in that pause, your power returns. There is a discipline to Sophia, a quiet devotion to self-respect. Your energy becomes intentional. Your time becomes sacred. Your presence becomes earned. And perhaps the deepest initiation, you become willing to be misunderstood. You release the need to be explained correctly. You stop translating your evolution because you know now your alignment matters more than your approval. Sophia is not the loss of your softness. She is the structure that protects it. She is the moment your love becomes discerning, your presence becomes intentional, your silence becomes sacred. She is your return to your own inner authority. So if you find yourself here, quieter, clearer, no longer willing to overextend, trust this. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. And clarity is the language of the wise. With you at the threshold, Living Temple series continues. Next, we will enter the next archetypal current and explore how it lives within your field. Until then, walk gently with what is unfolding. Oh, my goodness.
I know, it's so beautiful. It's very emotional.
Like, it's just incredible. I just, like, right, T? Like, do you know what I mean, T? Like, this is Tina's first time listening to, I could feel it in my heart right now. I could just, it's like a hug.
Yeah, you gotta let it in though.
What?
I said absolutely, as long as you let it in. This was the biggest challenge for me was allowing this stuff to come in and let it sit. I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah. It takes practice, ladies. It takes practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you listen
Don't
just
give
for a
up.
couple minutes. Yes.
Yeah. Don't ever give up.
That's it. Allow yourself the piece of time, like just the moment.
Yep.
Just allow the moment. Really, just if you're rushing and you get home from work, sit in your car for an extra minute, or maybe instead of walking inside, walking over to a tree. I would hug it personally, but just taking a moment.
Moment.
That's
Yeah.
it. Because life can happen too fast and we can stumble so much. But when we allow, oh, Stephanie's excited. Okay. And Amy, I'm glad that you appreciate being able to join. This is what this space is for.
Yeah.
Heather, I'm so glad that you joined us tonight.
Thank you. It's been so much fun. Yeah, I wanted everyone to fill their hearts with love.
Yes.
Self-love. Self-acknowledgement. Where it starts.
There's so much of it. Stephanie said, okay, Nicole, we need to talk about this. Absolutely. Yes, we will talk further about it, because when we embody these energies, but when we know we embody them, there's just an extra life force of empowerment, that comes over you when taking on the world. I know we're after 8 o'clock. See, I can feel the calmness in my voice again. And I'm a very fast, loud person, guys. So if I can calm down, anybody can.
Beautiful.
All right. So how would Heather? Is there anything you would like to say before we close? Before I hand over to Tina?
I guess I think I said it. Just live in your own light, live in your own love. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a constant practice. So embrace yourselves where it starts. Embrace yourself first, okay? Self-love. Namaste, my friends. Thanks for joining.
Yes. Tina?
I was just gonna say I appreciate Heather taking the time to join us as well. I think, um, I say it all the time: give yourself a little grace.
Mm-hmm.
And in this conversation, we talked about the pause. So just remember that you have power over you, and you should never allow anything good, anything such as bad energy, take that power away from you.
Yeah.
Transmute it into light. If there are people out there that are going to use your name in a negative way, something I love to do is I transmute that and empower myself to manifest the best life I could possibly live.
That's it.
So I leave you guys with this. If you woke up today, your soul still has purpose on this planet, so you might as well live it authentically true to you. Love and light, beautiful souls. We will be back here tomorrow night for another roundtable discussion about life and everything in between.
Beautiful. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Have a great night.
You'll be back.